Can I tell you about radon and rental properties? My name's Daniel Preshaw. I'm the broker and owner of His House Property Management, and I want to give you a little detail about radon and rental properties and a new Senate Bill 23-206 that passed not too long ago. This gentleman is named Louis Litt, and Louis is an attorney. He just came and knocked on your door, and he wants to rent a property that you have advertised. And Louis knows all about radon. He knows that if you don't, as the landlord, give him the right disclosures and information, that he's going to have the upper hand on you and he's going to make you look silly in front of a Colorado judge. So the difference between Louis and myself, Louis is an attorney and I am not. So I tell you this because I'm going to give you some information about this new law that went into effect and how it impacts you as a Colorado landlord. But this is not a comprehensive review. You should rely on your own attorney's information and guidance. But I hope this information is helpful as a guide to these new laws. So what in the world is radon, you might say? Well, it's an odorless, colorless, tasteless, radioactive gas that occurs naturally in Colorado's soil. Some people think that the increase in oil and gas activity in the state of Colorado and fracking has shifted soils, and this has become a bigger problem. I don't know. I'm still kind of a little skeptical on all of that and just radon in general, to be totally candid with you. But it doesn't matter what my opinion is, because the state of Colorado tells us how we need to handle radon, especially as it relates to rental properties. So radon is supposedly the leading cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and the second leading cause of lung cancer for smokers. I wonder what the first cause could be. Anyway, there have been 500 deaths in Colorado each year related specifically to radon, and over 21,000 deaths annually nationwide due to radon. So, you know, it sounds like it could be a pretty big deal. Senate Bill 23-206 just passed not too long ago. It became effective as law on August 7th, 2023. And before a lease is signed with a new tenant, a landlord must provide the following: a disclosure to the tenant regarding the dangers of radon, information about past radon tests, the test results, the concentration levels, and whether a radon mitigation system has been installed. So those first two bullet points, we as a company, we provide just a 2-page disclosure that has the appropriate verbiage, and the tenant signs it, and we sign it, and it covers our bases. But it has to be done before a lease is signed. That's really important. Because if it's not, then a tenant can void their lease. You also have to provide a copy of the most recent brochure published by the Department of Public Health, and has to provide advice about radon and real estate transactions. So the disclosure that they're referencing here, that the bill references from the Department of Public Health and Environment, is long. It's like 20 pages long. So radon and real estate transactions, I think, is what it's called, something to that effect. And again, if that, along with the disclosure form that they sign, isn't provided to the tenant before they sign a new lease, then the tenant can void a lease if that didn't happen. So make sure you get that signed. Tenant has the right to hire a radon measurement professional. So I'm pretty sure that this gentleman pictured here is a radon measurement professional. The state of Colorado actually just created like a certification process within the last couple of years that radon measurement professionals have to go through in order to be certified to measure radon appropriately. So the tenant does have the right to hire that radon professional, and the landlord must make a reasonable effort to mitigate radon within 180 days after being notified that a radon measurement professional has determined the air concentration of radon is 4 picocuries per liter or more. So Picocuries is like a measurement standard that the EPA has, and so that's like their cutoff is 4 picocuries. So if it's 4 or above, it presents a higher level of risk, health and safety risk to the occupants of the property. So at 4 or above is when the EPA recommends that you mitigate, and mitigation systems can come in a lot of different forms and fashions. But in the event that the radon concentration levels are high after the tenant has it tested, then you as the landlord are required to make a reasonable effort to mitigate. So you have to pay for the mitigation system, really is what it comes down to. And a tenant can void a lease if a landlord fails to make that reasonable effort. Our recommendation is pretty simple. Just ask your attorney to prepare the right radon disclosure for you before you're signing a new lease, and ensure that your prospective tenants sign that disclosure before they sign the new lease. And then get your ducks in a row, really. Make sure you have all your documentation gathered before you start advertising the home for rent. And that should really position you to be in good shape as you kind of navigate this new law. If we can answer any other questions for you, I'd be happy to. Feel free to send me an email or poke around on our website. Glad to be a resource for you anytime. Thanks for watching.